Welcome to Occupational Health and Safety Training for the municipal election in 2022, presented by Lauren Pierce. Health and Safety Overview. Everyone has a role to play to ensure a healthy and safe work environment. The Ontario Occupational Health and Safety Act, otherwise known as the OHSA, outlines duties of employers, supervisors, and the rights and duties of workers. There are also different regulations that are attached to the OHSA, containing more detailed laws about how to make the workplace safe in specific situations. The Ministry of Labor, Immigration, Training, and Skills Development has inspectors who ensure the laws are followed. Workplace duties under the OHSA, summarized. The City of London is known as the employer under the Occupational Health and Safety Act. It's the City of London's responsibility under the Act to make sure that workers know about hazards in the workplace and how to work safely. Make sure supervisors know how to take care of health and safety on the job. Create health and safety policies and procedures for the workplace and make sure everyone knows about them and follows them. Make sure workers wear and use the right protective equipment. And do everything reasonable to keep workers from getting hurt or sick on the job. Supervisors are responsible for telling workers about hazards and dangers in the workplace and showing them how to work safely. Supervisors are also responsible to make sure that workers follow the law and the workplace health and safety policies and procedures. Make sure workers wear and use the right protective equipment, and do everything reasonable to keep workers from getting hurt or sick on the job. Under the Occupational Health and Safety Act, workers must follow the law and workplace health and safety policies and procedures. Always wear or use the protective equipment that the employer requires. Work and act in a way that won't hurt them or any other worker. Report any hazard they find in the workplace to their supervisor. Rights of a worker. As a worker, you have the right to know about the hazards in the work you do and be instructed on how to do your work safely. Participate and get involved in health and safety, including the right to speak up and ask questions, and the right to refuse unsafe work if you have reason to believe it puts you or a fellow worker in danger. Note, it's against the law for your employer or supervisor to punish you in any way for carrying out your rights under the Occupational Health and Safety Act. Roles of the Joint Health and Safety Committees, summarized. As a worker in the upcoming election, you are represented by the City Hall Multi-Workplace Joint Health and Safety Committee, otherwise known as the JHSC. The JHSC plays an important role in helping to keep workplaces safe. The JHSC makes recommendations to the employer to improve health and safety. If you have a health and safety concern and do not feel comfortable going to your supervisor, you may also ask a member of the JHSC for support. Additional roles in health and safety. The Ministry of Labor, Immigration, Training, and Skills Development develops, communicates, and enforces occupational health and safety requirements and employment standards. They develop, coordinate, and implement strategies to prevent workplace injuries and illnesses and can set standards for health and safety training. You can contact the Ministry of Labor, Immigration, Training, and Skills Development by phoning 1-877-202-0008 or by going online to ontario.ca/MLITSD. The Workplace Health and Safety Insurance Board administers Ontario's no-fault workplace insurance for employers and their workers. You can contact the Workplace Safety and Insurance Board by calling 1-800-387-0000 0750 or by going online to wsib.on.ca. Now let's talk about common workplace hazards. A hazard is anything in the workplace that could hurt you or the people you work with. Common workplace hazards you may be exposed to in your work during the elections include ergonomic hazards, such as safe lifting, trip hazards, slip and fall hazards, workplace violence and harassment. Please remember to report all new hazards to your pole supervisor immediately. Ergonomic hazards, safe lifting. Wear closed-toe shoes when lifting. Use the buddy system. If it's too heavy for one person or it's an awkward size or shape, ask for help. Use your legs, not your back, shoulders, or arms. If it is safe to do so, keep objects close to your body at chest height. No twisting. Move your feet in the direction that you are toting or carrying the object. And we would encourage you to take multiple trips versus one large trip of many heavy items. Trip, slip, and fall hazards. For trip hazards, please ensure that you keep all electronic cords and materials or bags out of walkways or aisleways. For slip and fall hazards, remember to use handrails where possible if ascending and descending downstairs. Do not rush, and clean up spills immediately. Workplace violence and harassment. Please remember to always be respectful of others. After the poll closes and everything is packed up into the poll supervisor's vehicle, please leave together as a group. Contact your poll supervisor immediately in the event of an incident. On-site security may be able to assist. Contact the city clerk's office or call 911 if necessary. COVID-19. As COVID-19 continues to be present in the community, it's important to identify additional health and safety controls available to protect you in the workplace. Some additional COVID controls include personal protective equipment, such as masks, safety glasses or goggles, and gloves. Hand sanitizer, disinfectant wipes, physical barriers, and considerations to the physical layout. First, let's talk about personal protective equipment, specifically masks. In order to safely wear a mask, we ask you to take the following steps. Step 1. Wash your hands or use an alcohol-based sanitizer to sanitize your hands before touching the mask. Step number 2. Inspect the mask for tears or holes. Check to make sure the mask is in good condition. Step number 3. Ensure the colored side of the mask faces outwards. Step number 4. Place the metal piece or stiff edge of the mask over your nose. Step number 5. Cover your mouth, nose, and chin. Step number 6. Adjust the mask to your face without leaving gaps on the sides. Step number 7. Avoid touching the mask. Step number 8. Wash your hands or use an alcohol-based sanitizer to sanitize your hands before touching the mask for removal. Step number 9. Remove the mask from behind the ears or head. Step number 10. Keep the mask away from you and surfaces when removing it. Step number 11. Discard the mask immediately after it becomes soiled, damaged, or damp, preferably into a closed bin. Step number 12. Wash your hands or use an alcohol-based sanitizer to sanitize your hand after discarding the mask. Ensure you do not complete any of the following when wearing a mask. Do not use a ripped or damp mask. Do not wear the mask only over mouth or nose. Cover both mouth and nose. Do not wear a loose mask. Do not touch the front of the mask. Do not remove the mask to talk to someone or do other things that would require touching the mask. Do not leave your used mask within reach of others. Let's move on to a different form of personal protective equipment, safety glasses or goggles. At the election, you are provided both options of safety glasses or goggles. Both options provided are CSA approved. Pick an option that fits you best. If you wear glasses, goggles can fit over top of your glasses, so they may be your best pick. Users should be able to see in all directions without any major obstructions in their field of view when wearing safety glasses or goggles. Personal protective equipment. Gloves. Nitrile gloves are available for use at each pole if you choose. These nitrile gloves are non-latex. Select a glove that fits your hand. Gloves vary in sizes. Inspect gloves for defects, such as tears or holes, prior to using. Practice proper donning and doffing methods, i.e., how do you put on or take off a glove safely. After wearing gloves, always wash your hands or use an alcohol-based product to clean your hands. Dispose of gloves directly into the garbage. Now let's discuss how to don and doff gloves. The first step in putting on or donning gloves involves removing one glove from the package and inspecting it to be sure that there are no pinholes or tears present. Here I have a nitrile glove and I'm inspecting it for pinholes or tears. Looks good. Step number 2, if gloves are ambidextrous, they can be worn on either hand. If not, align the glove's finger and thumb with the proper hand before donning. Insert the 5 fingers into the cuff and pull the cuff over the wrist. Check for a secure fit around the fingers and palm. The cuff should fit snugly around the wrist. Now we're going to repeat on the other side. Checking for holes, tears. Looks good. I'm aligning the glove with my thumb, inserting all 5 fingers, and making sure that I have a secure fit. Perfect. All right, now we're ready to learn how to doff gloves or take them off. The first step we're going to do is take one hand and grasp the outside edge of the glove near the wrist. So I'm pinching it right near the wrist. Peel the glove away from the hand, turning it inside out. Hold it in the opposite gloved hand. As I pull on it, the glove is turning inside out. Now I'm holding the glove in my other hand. Next step is sliding fingers under the wrist of the remaining glove, being careful not to touch the outside of the glove. Peel the remaining glove off from the inside, creating a bag containing both gloves. Now I'm able to discard these gloves into the garbage. And remember, after we doff gloves, always make sure you wash your hands or use an alcohol-based product to sanitize your hands. Now let's discuss how to appropriately apply hand sanitizer. Step number 1, apply a palmful of the product in a cupped hand and cover all surfaces. Rub hands palm to palm. Then rub right palm over left hand with interlaced fingers, and vice versa. Then rub palm to palm with fingers interlaced. Rub the backs of fingers to opposing palms with fingers interlocked. Complete rotational rubbing of the left thumb clasped in right palm and vice versa. Complete rotational rubbing backwards and forwards with clasped fingers on the right hand in the left palm and vice versa. Once dry, your hands have been sanitized. Disinfectant wipes. Visibly soiled surfaces should be cleaned first prior to disinfecting. Read the label of the disinfectant wipes and follow disinfectant instructions. Don gloves prior to disinfecting if desired. Apply disinfectant to cleaned area and ensure disinfectant keeps surface wet for the designated contact time identified on the product's label. Clean up in accordance with the product's instructions. Doff gloves if worn and always wash your hands after handling disinfectant wipes. Physical barriers and pole layout. Additional physical barriers are provided to provide separation between poll workers and voters where possible. Ensure these physical barriers are installed wherever possible. When arranging the physical layout of the poll, choose a layout that works both functionally and also provides the most physical distancing between voters and workers. When allowing voters into the polls, ensure polls do not get overcrowded inside and ensure there is adequate spacing to move around. COVID-19 symptoms. Prior to entering the workplace, please ensure you self-monitor for COVID-19 symptoms. If you are exhibiting symptoms, contact the elections office immediately. If you are required to self-isolate due to COVID-19 and are unable to attend your scheduled shift, please contact the elections office immediately. If you develop COVID-related symptoms or test positive within 48 hours after working the election, please contact the elections office. Reporting injuries and illnesses. Please remember to report all injuries and incidents in the workplace, regardless of severity. Report close calls or near misses. Who to approach or contact? Contact your poll supervisor or the city clerk's office. Why should you report workplace illnesses and injuries? To ensure that you get medical treatment right away, so that we can do an investigation and prevent another incident from reoccurring, and to satisfy legislative requirements to report critical injuries and fatalities. What is a critical injury? A critical injury is an injury of serious nature that places someone's life in jeopardy, produces unconsciousness, results in a substantial loss of blood, involves a fracture of a leg or arm, but not a finger or toe, involves a fracture to a wrist, hand, ankle, or foot, or involves the fracture to multiple fingers or toes. A critical injury is also an injury of serious nature that involves the amputation of a leg, arm, hand, or foot, but not a finger or toe, or involves the amputation of multiple fingers or toes. It's also an injury that consists of burns to a major portion of the body or causes the loss of sight in an eye. In the event of a critical injury of any person, call 911 immediately. Then call the city clerk's office. Block off the area involved in the incident and do not disturb the area. The city clerk's office will provide you with further instructions at that time. If the Ministry of Labor arrives on site, they will want to speak with the one in charge that is on site. Your poll supervisor will contact the city clerk's office. Joint Health and Safety Committee worker reps will also attend. Be courteous, listen, and answer honestly to any questions they may ask. If you don't know the answer, that's okay. Just answer honestly to the best of your ability. Additional health and safety information related for pool supervisors. If there's a hazard that you identify or one that has been brought to your attention and you are unable to resolve it based on training provided, please contact the City Clerk's office immediately. If there is a workplace injury or incident that occurs, please report it to the City Clerk's office immediately. Health and safety questions or concerns. If you have a health and safety concern, please contact the City Clerk's office immediately. You can also contact a City of London Health and Safety Advisor. Myself, Lauren Pierce, at lpierce@london.ca or 226-926-9215. You may also contact Nolan Vandenheed at nvandenh@london.ca or 519-808-9985. You may contact Chris Goodall at cgoodall@london.ca or 519-854-3987. You may contact Chris Surmaz at csurmaz@london.ca or 226-919-5621. Or you may contact Karen Christopher at kchristo@london.ca or 519-854-4248. You can also contact a worker member of the City Hall Joint Health and Safety Committee, Dominic Anello at danello@london.ca or 519-661-2489, extension 1880. If you have any health and safety questions, please don't hesitate to ask or contact any of the available resources, either internally at the City of London, or you may also contact the Ontario Ministry of Labour, Immigration, Training and Skills Development. Thank you again for watching this video and have a great day.